Hey, what's up guys? This is 3D Bonfire back with another amazing tutorial, and let me just reshape my Puref board here. So I think like on Saturday or Sunday I shared this little image that I just did on, I think it was Saturday morning. It took me, I guess, like 3 to 4 hours to set up the fluid shapes for this. You could use this one like a print campaign for a cosmetic product. Let me just see if this one is also working in a 16:9 commercial. Okay, I can totally see that. I think I would then rotate the product more towards the upper part, okay, not down facing like this. And maybe you would just place them a little bit differently. If it would be like a real print campaign, then of course you will spend just a bit more time with it. For example, I'm pretty sure that the client would love to see maybe one of these products just a bit more on the front, so it is kind of hidden here. But of course this is just more about the technique to show you how you can create something like this one that you can also see here in like these commercial campaigns for different cosmetic products. Okay, so I can definitely also shape something like this one here. Of course you can see that I just pushed it a bit further. It is way more playful and a bit more abstract, but of course you should just take away the knowledge for the techniques, and then you can easily simplify this one to achieve, for example, a shape like this one. Maybe for this one I would use another technique, because this one would maybe suit better for a liquid simulation, but to really get that smoothness here. And of course, for example, for this one, which also seems like a swirl at first, like a liquid shape, but then you can recognize that this one is more like a cloth simulation. It also has some lovely surface texture on it. So yeah, I mean, overall this is the same appearance, but this one is a cloth simulation. And I mean, what I want to say here is that dependent on the look that you are going for, you have to decide if you will use the cloth module or if you want to use some fake liquid simulations like we did it here. So you will find those two lessons also on my Patreon. I think one of them should be also maybe for free on my YouTube. I guess I just want to broaden your skill set so that then you can decide if you want to make a fake liquid simulation with the Pyro tool, or, and this is what we want to do today, you want to make these shapes just by sculpting and modeling. That could maybe afraid some of you. Marcus, you really want to sculpt this one? Yes. So this is also one of the tools that you should have in your little box of skills. All right. So yeah, you just have to decide if the project will demand a real liquid simulation or fake simulations, or if it is a better option to, for example, get like these like really crazy shapes if you need to sculpt it. Okay. So this was kind of a long introduction where I just wanted to let you know that it is best to have different tools in your toolkit, so you can either combine them or totally rely on sculpting or on fake liquid simulations or on true liquid simulations. And this will just make you more versatile than just relying on one technique, okay? Because sometimes, for example, like liquid simulations can take their time, and then you have to decide, hey, could I also solve it with fake liquid simulations, or could I even model it? All right. So anyway, this was like a long introduction for this lesson. So I would say now we just dive into Cinema 4D, and I will show you how you can build stuff like this one. Maybe we will not take it up to the detail level here and just keep it a little bit more simple, because as I said, for this one, I think I tested like different shapes, and the testing and failing and removing and adding another shape is just part of the progress. Okay, so this is also like a big playground where you just shape it and then you see, hey, this isn't working, and you remove a shape, you add a shape, you change the shape, stuff like this one. Okay, but now I think it is time to finally jump into Cinema 4D and build like a beautiful money shot or print campaign for our cosmetic product. All right. So I would say that you just jump into the shop here, and if you are a Knights subscriber in January 2025, then this product here, the cosmetic product starter kit, should be for free as a download included in your Knights membership. Then from February on you can find it here for this price in the shop. But yeah, if you are in the Knights membership in January 2025, then this one should be included in your membership. And I did my artwork with this eye cream here. But yeah, I mean, you could grab another product. For example, you know what? I think I just want to this time take another product. I will go with this classic cream pot. But you can see stuff stuff like this one will work with all kinds of different products. Maybe you can hear my mouse clicking here and there, but I think for what we want to do, it will be beneficial that I grab my Wacom tablet and my Wacom pen. So I just switched from mouse. Now I have a pen in my hand. You could also try it with your mouse, but I would say because we this time rely on sculpting techniques, it will be definitely beneficial when you have a pen in your hand. And I have to mention, like, maybe this process isn't working for you because it depends heavily if you are also trained just a little bit in sculpting and more in drawing and shaping and stuff like that. But it could be that you are more on the technical side and you like to have the precision, for example, with a spline, and then you have a profile and then you sweep the profile along the spline to just have more of a technical control approach to it, like I usually also do. But sometimes I just want to also sculpt shapes. So yeah, you will see if this is something for you, but you should also not be discouraged if this one at first seems to not give you the control and the, let's say, like the exact values that you are used to if you work more with a technical setup. But yeah, let's just see if this one is working for you. Alright guys, and just as a little disclaimer before we go into the sculpting, I have to maybe mention that it probably can take a little bit of time to get used to this technique, but just look what you can do when you master this technique. So this one took me like 3 hours, and then I went into the lighting and materials, like a little cream shader or something like that. But yeah, if you just put these sculpting techniques into your toolkit, you can be way more playful and more confident about creating custom made shapes. And just to show you what we will now do hands-on is that I use a lot of volume builder measures here, and I use a lot of big shapes like this one, but then I put another on top of it, like a smaller one like this one, and also like this one, which are just hugging the bigger shape. You can also see this approach here where we got a big shape and then this one is hugging on top of it, like also with these droplets. You can see the same approach over there and there with this one, just snuggling really close to this one. And this is just one of the main secrets that you should take away from this lesson, how to create like this organic blobs which are just close to your object, touching it and snuggling onto it. So yeah, let's just dive into the technique. And and yeah, please understand that we can't go to this full complexity in this couple of minutes here, but I will give you everything that you basically have to know, so that with a little bit more time, then you can create something like this one. All right. So sculpting, of course, is just also relying a little bit on happy accidents, especially with this workflow that I want to show you here. And what I want to do is take first a base shape, and then I want to sculpt it into a position and into a shape like a little wave here where our product could sit on. And I mean, you can also see here in my example that I did there, although that there are a lot of free flowing shapes, but more or less the simulation, let's call it like this, is coming from down there and going into waves, but then it's going up to this area. Top right to bottom left, more or less, this one is flowing. Even though that there are definitely shapes like this one, you can still see that overall it's going into a diagonal shape there. And more or less you could also see this one here in a way more simplified version here from a reference image, where you have like this wave shape there. But of course, like this one is way more artistic and playful, and it just depends on what you need. So you don't have to go like that crazy like I did here, and probably your client will ask you to keep it more simple. But yeah, it just depends on if it can be a little bit more on the cartoony playful side, or if it should be more realistic. And depending on that, you have to just pick your tools. And for example here, now I want to sculpt this one into a nice position, into a nice shape, and you can definitely use the sculpting brushes over there. But I'm just used to press MI for the magnet tool, put this one to 300 for example, and then I could just move this one around like this. But also you could decrease the radius to make like smaller changes to your object like that. But I think for the start, it is just a good idea to take like a big radius like that, and maybe I want to push it down a little bit and put it into, yeah, like some basic wave shape. Let's just see what we are getting here. All right, we already have like a little wave here. Okay, that's cool. You could also move this one to the side and go for a radius of 800. And let's just see what happens when I grab it here and then over there. do this one like multiple times. Now you can see I was able to make this one thicker here. Okay, you could take the same approach and do it differently and just condense this one a bit. If you want to go like this and that and this and that, let's just see if we just are able to condense our shape just a little bit more here. So you can see that now this one is just getting a bit more defined around here. I just want to, let's see, let me move this one just a bit faster. Let's see, to get something like this, for example. Okay, so you can see we get some more thickness there, but then down here it's getting more condensed, and I think that I really like this difference here. So let's just see. Okay, I really like it like that, for example. So yeah, you can see we get a bit more definition there, but here it's a bit more loose. So I would say that this one is like already like a beautiful, nice starting shape. You could now rotate this one a little bit. Let me just see this one. All right, I just want to move this one maybe up a bit. Okay, so yeah, let's just pretend like this one is our basic shape here. And I think that also our product can be just a little bit bigger. So I would just scale this one up to a scale like that, for example. Yeah, let's just do it like this. And maybe I just want to position this one just a bit differently here. Let me see. Yeah, maybe something like that. And maybe just a little bit off center, put it over there. Yeah, but anyway, this one is working more or less. So let's just say like this one is our wave shape, our basic shape here. But now we want to also have some contact here between our object and the wave. So therefore I would say you just duplicate this object, your classic cream pot, and put this one into a builder and the measure. Let's do it like this. And let's put the voxel density to 1. So now you can see that this one is getting really close to our original cream pot. But I think we want to have some distance, just a little margin here. So therefore you can, for example, put the delayed and erode into this object here. You can also go to the measure, to basic, and set this one to X-ray. So you can see the difference between your pot and your measure. And now I can see that definitely this is way too much. So I want to put this one to 1. Yeah, for example, 1 looks good. And we want to put some smoothness into this one. I like to keep this one at 1 and this one at 2. Do something like that. Press NB to see the lines of this object. I think we can make the voxel size a little bit denser to get an object like this one here. Let's get out of the X-ray mode. Okay, this is looking good. So I will press C on this one, and this one will be our remesh pot. Okay, I will also create a duplicate, make this one invisible. And now I think we need to set our wave into a builder measure. Let's just do it like this. I mean, you could also do it with like a collision deformer, but yeah, I just want to go for the measure builder approach here. We definitely don't want to combine these shapes. We want to keep this one at 1 maybe, but we want to subtract this one to get an indent like that. And now you have to put a smooth into it to just get like this beautiful contact area there. Okay, especially in rendering, this will prove to be beneficial to just get like this nice shape here around it. Okay, but once again, I want to keep this one at 1 and this one at 2 to get something like this one. Okay, let me see the density of this object. All right, this is kind of looking good. I want to put this one to 0.6. And now maybe from the deformation, you can see some stretch marks here and there. You can get rid of that stuff by putting, for example, a smoothing deformer into your hierarchy. Let me just see this one when I press Alt G, putting this one into a null hierarchy and put a smoothing into the hierarchy here. Let's just see if we can get rid of these artifacts by putting an iteration of 100 there. I think already this one is getting better. So this is something that you can do, but for now, I don't want to overcomplicate things. I think that this one is also not visible in our viewport here. So this is more or less working for me. You could now just duplicate this one and make this one invisible and also inactive just as a backup there. And you know what, for now I just want to go fast here. This is why I right click and current state to object to just have this one as an object here in the scene. And now let's just try something else. Let's duplicate this one and put this one once again into a builder and a measure like that. And you could call this one 1 and you could duplicate this one and you could call this one 2 and now subtract 1 from 2, but because they are completely overlapping, there basically will be nothing visible until you press MI for the magnet tool. And now, like this one is like a cool effect, you can add additional details here easily when you would just click and drag up there. Let's just do this one. And now, like this one is looking super ugly, but this is just because of the voxel size. Let's put the voxel size to 2, for example. Now you can see like we get this beautiful extra layer here. And now when I think about it, maybe it was not clever to use the wave with the built-in shape there. You know what? I'm sorry. Let me just kill these objects quickly. And this is why it is good to have like backups here. So I think when I just grab this wave here, then this one is like the wave without the built-in shape there. Okay, so this will be beneficial when we now put this wave into the builder measure and duplicate this one. And once again, you can then just subtract wave 1 from wave 2. Let's just do this once again. All right, but this time when I would click and drag, you can see that there is not already the built-in hole in the second wave there that we want to create here. So yeah, this one will be just a little bit helpful to get a clean new layer like this one. And then of course, you could also now just grab the remesh pot one more time, put the remesh pot also in the hierarchy here and put this one also to subtract, so that now this hole here is just also appearing in your second wave. And that is kind of looking very interesting. So you can already see like this technique has a lot of potential. It could also be helpful when we just go to the second wave, and we could put like a delayed and erode above this one to just give this one a little bit more volume here. All right, so maybe this is something that you like, and then you could, let's just see, let's put a sphere down there and let's make this one smaller, and let's just position it like this. And you could then, for example, yeah, just duplicate this one and put this one once again into a builder and a measure, and then maybe put the sphere into it. And let's just set this one to subtract and set this one to 1. Okay, so we also want to put a smoothing probably into this one. But now you can see when I move this sphere along there, that we can create like this beautiful, just additional shapes there. You could, I guess, also just duplicate the sphere, move it over here. And I think then we just need to go down there, and then now you could also just move this one over here and create like a smaller droplet over here. You can create one more, I would say, and let's just move this one up here, for example. Let's move this one also down there. Okay, so now you get an additional detail over here. I will put this one to 500, and I want to press MI for the magnet tool to just shape this one a little bit more. So maybe I want to have this one coming around my shape like this. All right, so how about shape like this one? Let me just see how this one is looking. I think it's not that perfect, so I want to try to connect this one. But yeah, maybe this one is coming around the corner, around the shape like that. And now you could also make this one a bit wider here, or you could move it over here, so this one is coming around like this. I think you are getting the idea now on how you can create like this custom shapes here. Yeah, let's just repeat this process just one more time with another capsule. I want to press C, but of course you can also start from another shape, and maybe I just move this one back there, go to my magnet tool, and I think like once again I want to make this one longer. And yeah, let me just see if I'm able to get an interesting shape here. Okay, so sometimes, as I said, failure is part of the process, but maybe this one is cool. I want to just go to the side once again and maybe give it also like a thicker area there. And now I'm just grabbing this object and see when I rotate this one around in my scene, if I can see a good placement for this object. I could also move this one to the foreground. Let's put it over here. Let's rotate it more. I guess I want to scale this one down. Let's move it up here. Let's rotate it one more time. Press T. I think I want to stretch this one out. Let me move it down there and maybe a little bit up. Let me stretch this one, rotate it. Yeah, maybe here this one could work in the viewport, but then I would probably go to a smaller radius and just change this a little bit more into maybe something like this. Rotate it again. Yeah, like this one could be an interesting shape. I could also duplicate this one and test it once again in the background. Rotate this one around, T to stretch it, rotate it. Yeah, I mean, I can see some potential here. Of course, as I said, I can't create like the whole image, like a complete artwork, but this is all the techniques basically that I'm using here. Especially helpful is when you already have a beautiful shape, then duplicate it again and use like this subtraction mode with a duplicated object of your original object and just massage it a bit outwards to get additional layers which are laying on top of your original object. You can see that I'm using this technique all over the place here, where there is just like a duplicate laying on top of your original cream and then just hugging close onto it. And this is exactly what we did with this technique here, and also with these droplets laying on your wave. All right, so this was like a really short breakdown of this technique. And as I said, this process is just relying on happy accidents, and also a lot of your shapes probably will not look good at the start. So for example, if you don't like these shapes here, then you just start again with the capsule and just try the shaping process one more time. I mean, this one is just really fast, and you can see here I break the object. Yeah, you just try to get an interesting shape and then you rotate it around and try to put it into position and see where it could work. But if it doesn't work, you just try it again and again until you have something beautiful for your scene. Okay, so this is definitely an approach which will just give you like really crazy shapes if you are getting used to the process, and will just give you basically like a different aesthetic than if you would just directly from the start rely on a simulation or even like a fake simulation like I did it here in this other tutorial. But yeah, it's just another technique that you could add to your toolkit to have something more playful if the project will demand for this playfulness. All right, so I would say, like, I don't want to make this one too long, this tutorial. Just think about if this technique is something that you want to learn. And other than that, thank you so much for your time. See you in the next tutorial. Bye, everyone.